more people will be killed this year by doctors on purpose through MAID than will die from COVID-19 in Canada. That's a fact. You'd think it would be bigger news. Well, it is news, sort of. A fashion company called Simmons thinks this is an important issue, as in they support it, they love it. They think suicide is important to promote, to glamorize suicide. I'm not sure how that sells women's clothing, but Simmons has produced a fancy TV ad to promote suicide, not to oppose suicide, not to support Mental Health Week, not to support the Kids Help Phone or Suicide Crisis Hotline. The opposite. Simmons has engaged an ad agency to make a beautiful ad promoting suicide as a beautiful exit. They are literally pro-death. Here's their CEO, or chief merchant, as he calls himself, merchant of death. I'm not sure if he thinks he can sell more clothes by being the pro-homicide fashion designer out there. Not sure how that works. But listen to this self-righteous murderer condoner. He's bragging about how brave he is. He's brave for telling women to kill themselves. Take a look.
Some new roles that I've taken on recently have led me to be much more involved in the creative teams at Simmons. It's been an honor and a pleasure and a challenge. And it's allowed me to be involved in a new project that has really pushed us to our limits. And I felt the need to talk to you about it today to explain why we did this project, because it is very different from what we've done in the past. Where does this story begin? I guess it begins 6 months ago after I met a young woman called Jennifer, who, despite being at the end of her life due to an illness, really wanted to tell her story. And she was courageous, she was beautiful, she was intelligent and thoughtful. She was inspiring. We decided to try to tell her story and to, as Jennifer would say to me, maybe create a little ripple out there, a ripple of generosity, a ripple that might allow people to see beauty obviously in the nice moments, but more importantly, to have the strength and the courage to see beauty in the more difficult moments in life. And that's what we've tried to do, is with generosity, tell Jennifer's story. And it's not a story about the end of Jennifer's life. It's a celebration of Jennifer's life. She dedicated herself to helping others. Despite a lot of difficult circumstances, I think she rose above them with resilience. And I believe that she had the courage to see beauty everywhere and to live in the moment. And perhaps if her story can lead others to see that hope, optimism, and ultimately come to generosity, that's an important message for all of us. If we make the effort to see the hard beauty, not only the easy beauty, it reminds us, it shows us a path toward that hope and optimism and generosity and connection between us. It reminds us how to be more, how to give more, how to feel more, how to be more connected to one another. How is this different from what we've done before? It's obviously not a commercial campaign. It's more an effort to use our freedom, our voice, and the privilege we have to speak and create every day here in a way that is more about human connection. And I think we sincerely believe that companies have a responsibility to participate in communities and to help build the communities that we want to live in tomorrow and leave to our children. And this is one little gesture. I admit I'm scared, but I would say I think without perhaps courage, I say that with humility, there is no creativity and there is no possibility of making beauty. So if people could follow us down that road, I just ask that they look deeper and celebrate Jennifer's life and the choices she made and make that effort, and perhaps they'll see some of the beauty that I saw in Jennifer and how she chose to live her life and the final days of her life.
Now, the ad itself never comes right out and says that she was killed by doctors. It's ambiguous. They say she was terminally ill. So maybe he's not quite that brave, but he sure is proud of himself. Here's the ad making suicide glamorous.
Dying in a hospital is not what's natural. That's not what's soft. In these kind of moments, you need softness. It can take dying to figure out what living is actually like. I spent my life filling my heart with beauty, with nature, with connection. So I choose to fill my final moments with the same. Last breaths are sacred. When I imagine my final days, I see music. I see the ocean. I see cheesecake. Even now, as I seek help to end my life, with all the pain, and in these final moments, there is still so much beauty. You just have to be brave enough to see it. And seeing the rhythms of what's gonna keep going after I'm gone bring a lot of comfort.
That's satanic, isn't it? So naturally, Trudeau's CBC state broadcaster loves it. Just euphoric about the normalization and the commercialization of euthanasia. Here's a story they wrote, 1,500 words of pro-euthanasia propaganda without a single voice of concern or criticism or a disabled advocate, just gushing over murder. That's an excerpt from my show every night. It's called the Ezra Levant Show. That's me, Ezra Levant. You can see the whole thing behind our paywall. Well, there's a lot of goodies behind there. I do a show every weeknight. My friends Sheila Gunn Reid and David Menzies and Nat and Kat have their shows too. You get a ton of content for just $8 a month. There's so much in there you won't find anywhere else. Go to rebelnewsplus.com.